Hey everybody, it's Amy Graham, the Badass Valkyrie, and today we're going to try something very different for me. I have had this Winsor Newton Cotman watercolor travel set for a while now, and as you can see, I have never broken into it. And that's mostly because I am terrified to try this because I don't want to suck at it. So, what I'm going to do is open all of these lovely little pans, and we're going to attempt to do just to put some color on a page. I don't care what it actually ends up looking like. I just want to actually do something with this. I picked this up. This is a sketchbook. I know that you can get them at Michael's, but I picked this up at my favorite little store, and it was less than $2. And then I also have these 8 different Robert Simmons sapphire watercolor brushes, and these are synthetic and sable. The sapphire watercolor, very different tips. So I picked these up. These were all less than $1 each. I think the most I paid was 80 cents for these, for each one of these, because they were 70% off. And yeah, so that's why I'm just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. So as most of you who follow my channel know, I get things very inexpensively. And there's no way of knowing exactly what I'm going to get weekly, but I have a variety of things that I'm going to get. So the travel set also comes with its own brush. So you have that as well. It's a travel brush. So it's very small though. So I'm probably going to leave that in there and use the larger brushes, because what I want to do is just put a wash on a page, and we're going to try that. So I'm going to go ahead and open all of these, and we will, I'm going to go ahead and put these all down. So I'm not going to make you guys watch while I do that. So I will be right back. Okay. So let me preface this entire video by saying that I've never done this. I mean, if I did this in school, I don't remember. So I have seen people watercolor online. I have not looked up all videos on how to do this or whatever. I know you dip the water or dip the brush into the paints or into the water like that. You get it kind of, maybe, I don't know. I will say, odd thing about these brushes, these were next to my desk in my Razcog cart that I use for all my pens. My cat would not leave these alone. He loved like rubbing these bristles up against his snout. I don't know why. I don't know what's on him, but it was hilarious that we had to keep him. I had to move them in here to keep him from attacking the brushes. He loved them. Anyway, just a little aside note there. So I have a paper towel. I have this little dish, which I'm assuming I can mix colors in and all of that. There is my color palette right there, and all open and pretty, and as you can see, all brand new, which, they may stay like that after a while. I don't know. But basically what I want to do is like a sky and ground here. So blues that turning into browns or greens or whatever. That's my goal. And like I said, I am flying by the seat of my pants on this. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to turn out. It could be a complete and utter failure, but I want to try it and just see what happens. Some people would do like months and months of research online, and Like, I did that when I set up my first traveler's notebook, but for this, I'm like, I'm just gonna see what happens. So I have my 2 waters there, and all right, let's just get into it and see. So I'm gonna use, we're gonna try with this brush since I already have it wet. It might be too big, I don't know. I think this is blue. It's a very pretty blue. So, ooh. Put a little bit more water there. Now I know you can use water brushes, and I just have not found any of those yet. So, and I know people talk about putting water on the page and dragging the ink out like that, but I don't know. As I said, this could be completely horrifying, and those of you who are watercolor artists are going, oh my god, what the hell is this crazy person doing? But I'm experimenting. I just like doing stuff to do stuff. I have figured out that I am not a doodler. I have tried several times, and when I do my my March or my February flip through of my bullet journal, which will probably be coming on Thursday since I'm doing this one today, you will see that I have put a little note in my bullet journal for myself to say, hey, dumbass, let's not do this again. You are not that kind of artist. I mean, I've tried. I did Inkorimo, or no, what was it? Inktober. And, you know, if I practiced it, I probably would get better, but it gets frustrating for me because I'm not good at it. Well, it does look somewhat like a sky, sort of. All right, I put a little bit of water in here. Now, I have no idea if this is how you're supposed to mix colors. But it would seem to me that this would be how you do it. And if not, you guys can just be like, oh my god, she's such a noob. And while we're at it, we're going to set that. Right there. So I'm not dragging it all over the place. So now, I think this is, yeah, it's brown. See if I can get a different color. Well, that just kind of seems like not what I wanted. Well, it's not bad. I was going more for a darker green, but you know, it would probably help if you knew what colors mixed what. But again, while all of the kids that were growing up, all the kids that were taking art were in art while I was in band. So, yeah. So I never really had a huge art influence because, well, one, I changed schools quite a bit, but I don't know that I actually ever took like I mean, I know I had to take a couple of art classes, and there's no doing this without coffee, sorry. But for the life of me, I think maybe it was in 5th grade or 7th grade, I'm not sure. But in those grades, I was moving around so much. That's when my parents got divorced. And like I said, I was mostly focused on band because that was my life growing up in school. From 4th grade on, I was a band geek, and I was a saxophone player, for those of you who are interested. And I went to Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, Oklahoma. Woo woo, Bulldogs! And on a music education scholarship. And while I did not finish my degree, I lack about 63 hours, and most of those hours are student teaching. And considering the fact that most music education courses in today's schools are nil to non-existent, I chose to go a different path. I got hired out of school, actually, at AT&T, and started making more money there in the first year than I would have as a tenured teacher. So, yeah, that kind of swayed me. I do miss music, and while I had thought about going back into it, as far as playing goes, when I had thought about doing that is right about the time that I started fighting, and we all know how that went. I went the fighting route because I will always be able to play music. I would not always be able to fight. So I pretty much threw myself into fighting. And now that it is coming towards an end, at the end of this May, when I retire from fighting professionally, or I say professionally, although none of us get paid to do it, in a professional team, now I can go back and add some brown. I will probably see what I can do about joining a local band around town and seeing what I can do. Big band and swing was my favorite to play. I never got thrilled with classical music, although I love listening to it and I love playing it. There's not a lot of call for baritone saxophone in a lot of the orchestras. So, in jazz bands, yes, absolutely. And I just kind of like the camaraderie, the ambience, all of that for a jazz band. It's just a lot more fun. And I've opened for Buddy Rich, I've been with Maynard Ferguson. I mean, I've never played professionally. We opened with these guys in college. And Pearl Bailey. And it's a lot of fun and something that I do miss. But again, as I said, stuff that I could do later in life and not have to worry about being in top physical shape, which at 51 is about as good as I'm getting. So, okay. Well, woohoo. I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to go all the way to the edges of this thing. I have no clue. I will have to remember to bring a clip in next time so that I can clip these down. But, yeah. Let's see how the white goes on top of the blue. Because the only exposure I've had, really, to watercolors is Happy Little Clouds. And if those of you who have seen my 2018, what I'm going to be using, my A6 Hobonichi Techo, although technically it's a English version, is got the cloud cover on it, and Makara, I can't even think of the actual real name on it, but it's got the blue and white clouds, and it's my happy little planner because those clouds remind me of Happy Little Clouds by Bob Ross, and it has a Bob Ross cartoon in it by a local artist, and it makes me happy. It's my gratitude journal. So yeah, looks like the white doesn't really go on top, I guess. So that's all right. I want to try one other thing and see if I can use one of these tiny little brushes. This is the S85, the round brush. And see how tiny it is. I wanted to put in, well, that certainly doesn't drop a lot of, oh, now see, this one is much more brown. That's all right. I don't know what I'm trying to draw there. I don't know if it's a bush or a tree. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to go on. I'm thinking it's a tree. This is definitely not the happy little tree that Bob Ross would draw, but you know, this is the first time I'm doing this, so hey, they can't all be happy little trees. Yeah, maybe it's more driftwoody. I don't know. See, this is what you, when it looks so nice and pretty, I was like, I could be happy with that. Dumbass. No. I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to keep drawing on it until it turns into something. Kind of sort of looks like a creepy little hand coming out. We'll fix that right there. Yes, Amy, let's just keep going and make it really look like a weird little hand. But we can try to make it look more like a dead tree. Okay. All right. So there's that. This weird little witch finger thing up there is kind of bugging me. Now it doesn't look nearly as bad, or it could look worse, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look nearly as witch hand. Okay, Now, sorry if my head gets in this. I've never, for those of you who have wondered why I've never done my plan with me's together, I mean, while I'm doing it, it's because I sometimes talk to myself while I'm doing it. I mean, technically, I guess I am talking to myself this whole time while I'm doing this. However, I make mistakes and then I have to like erase it all and do all that kind of thing. So I end up, there's a lot of my hand in this and all of that. So yeah, I have not got to the point where I'm ready to do that yet. But I'm sure I will at some point. This kind of white, just, it did kind of dry a little bit darker. So we're going to try to put a little bit more on there. Like a happy little cloud. There's a little bit more white down here. Now, honestly, I don't think this looks half bad for somebody that's not ever done this. So, ideally what I want to do is do some of this, not necessarily the crazy, creepy witch hand tree, but doing a backwash on, in my Hobonichi, on the Tomoe River paper, and doing some different, like when I want to journal on a special day, or during my beginning months, I kind of want to do a little bit, something a little bit different. I know that it crinkles the paper like this is done, but I just want to kind of on occasion do it. And then I also have an extra A6 from work that I ended up not using for work because it's just too small. And so I thought, you know, I could actually use it to do some art. And so far, I actually kind of like this. So now that I know this is brown, putting in some, ooh, I'm getting some on the other side. I gotta be careful of that. I guess it kind of helps to know the colors you've got in your palette, but you know, I just figured we'll try it. Kind of blend that in just a little bit. And there we go. That kind of got a little wonky. Blend that in with some of the green. So it looks a little bit better or blended. Okay. Well, there you go. My first watercolor ever. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, I had some when I was a kid, but I don't remember it, and I don't ever remember doing this in school. So, there we have it. For all intents and purposes, this is Amy Graham's first watercolor. Dun dun dun. As Badass Valkyrie. So, I guess we let this dry Although there's like a little hair in there, but most likely from Heimdall, my cat. So I will set those out and let those dry, and let this dry because obviously I don't want to let it or shut it and get it all over the place. Now, the one thing that I did notice that I did, this should be my dirty water and this is my clean water. I kept dumping or kept putting my white in this because it was, I don't know why, because it seemed like wrong to put it in the dirty water. So I'll have to make sure I make it obvious to me not to do that again in the future. But that is my first drawing, or my first watercolor. It's very simple and very probably beginner, but that's what I am. So I am going to leave it like this and date it and keep practicing. So I did get a little there, but I'll have to, I think next time I'll try to do like clips or rubber bands or something, and see what it does. Although, yeah. So there you have it. So if you've been wanting to try watercolors, just do it. I mean, how bad can it be, honestly? Again, first time. It doesn't look horrible. I'm actually pretty proud of it. So I had no idea what I was going to do other than I was going to draw sky and ground. And I would love to actually go in and journal on top of this. So that's kind of cool. My little clouds are kind of popping up because I did those afterwards. Again, I have no idea about composition, about how this is supposed to react, about anything, but it's done. And I am pretty dang happy with it. So if you have watercolor, I mean, I have several different, I got these and and this one, and they're not even open yet. But I was watching Burgess Taylor, and who does a lot of watercolor in her videos, which is where I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And she had talked about the Winsor Newton, and how in her video about what she would go back and do first. She would start out with these, and I already had them. And again, I've had these about 2 months or probably longer, and just never had the guts to do it. So she kept talking about don't be afraid to be creative. And if it sucks, it sucks. My drawings suck. Flat out. They're horrible. I don't like them. They make me when I look at them. So we're just not going to do that. But this, I actually enjoyed. I wasn't worried about what I was doing. I'm like, we're going to see what it does. The crazy little witch hand tree turned out cute. I like it. And I will probably journal in this, talking about how I did this first. So again, never done it before, took the plunge and really liked it. So we'll see what happens. And hopefully if you have any kind of inkling to want to do this, just go to Michael's, buy some watercolors, buy a paint. I mean, literally I used this brush. I liked this the best. And it was an oval wash brush, and I could have stuck with all that. I did the little tiny brush for this. I don't even know what it was, but I liked it. So you can at least see if you enjoy it. And Michael's has enough 50% off coupons that you can get them pretty cheap. So give it a try. And I think on Sundays I'm going to try to do some creative endeavors about, various things. But yeah, for my first try, I'm pretty damn proud. And if you have something that you actually want to start to try and you've never done it before, let me know in the comments below. And if you have something that you want me to try, let me know. I will go into it not knowing anything and see what happens. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your February, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.